Hello and welcome in to Rochester Regional Stadium. It's the last broadcast of the year here at home at RCTC for either side, whether it's USL W League or USL League 2. It's USL W League on tap for today as Rochester FC take on the Chicago Dutch Lions. Chicago Dutch Lions coming to this game sitting third in the Heartland Division, but it's too little too late for the side from Chicago. They're missing out on the USL W League playoffs. Chicago City SC and Minnesota Aurora FC, both of them have claimed the spots in the conference for the final playoffs of the USLW League season in 2023. Rochester FC bring up the rear in the conference, sitting in last with only 3 points out of 11 games. But a chance here against a Chicago Dutch Lions side that's very strained for players. A lot of players leaving the city for the July 4th weekend. So Chicago Dutch Lions down to just 11 players and 2 substitutes for this game today. For Rochester FC, it's a few changes, but a pretty consistent lineup across the board. In goal is Emanak, and it's a back three of Lissa Mizutani, Madison Salas, and Lindsey Birch. 2 holding midfielders, Emerson Ellington, Sarah DeGaines, and an attacking midfielder in Honor Kartipchenko. Left mid and right mid, Chelsea Brown and Eduarda Quiroz. And then up top, 2 strikers for today, Jada Brown and Becca Cook. Jada Brown had a really positive game against RKC, just couldn't find the back of the net. She created 3 goal-scoring opportunities, just missed all of them, and so a chance for her to get back on track here as she looks to bring Rochester their second win and their first home win in this game ahead, yet to secure a victory at home. The lone victory for Rochester this season came against the second-place side, Chicago City SC, away on June 18th. Riley, you're playing another team from Chicago, a team that you lost 0-4 to at their place at Aurora University in Naperville. How do you attack this game with a different mentality?
As we saw in their last game, we talked about before too. The new formation, they played really well, created chances. So I think, just having that confidence that you built from the last game, playing well, creating chances, and then hopefully the goals go in today. Just have to stay confident. And although they didn't last time, there's a lot of positive signs, and I think they'll bring that into this game.
Yeah, for head coach Eric Fiel, it was a formation change that not any of us were expecting in terms of the positional and the players that we have at certain positions for Rochester, but nonetheless, it seemed to work out well, holding RKC to just 1 goal, and that 1 goal was a 35-yard free kick that Molly Johnson just kind of took advantage of. Everyone in Rochester kind of in shambles around the back. No one stepping in front of the ball to stop Johnson from taking that free kick from 35 yards out. Alcalde was off her line. That's the lone goal against RKC that Rochester gave up. Yet to keep a clean sheet on the season, sitting at 1-10 going into the final game. We'll take a quick break here on the Rochester FC Network. I've been Arnaud Pokro, joined by Riley Moore. We'll have action at kickoff when we return here at RCTC Stadium. The last game for both of these sides here at RCTC Stadium. 11 games gone, 1 to go for Rochester FC and the Chicago Dutch Lions. Once again, Chicago Dutch Lions come into this game 6-4-0, 6 wins, 4 losses. Rochester 1-10, 1 win and 10 losses on the season for the Loons. Once again, just a few changes. Lindsey Birch returns to the lineup, as well as Emma Knack and Jada Brown back into the starting lineup for the Loons. Jada Brown's going to be the player to look out for here, especially against Chicago Dutch Lions side that's physically depleted. They only have 1 bench player, and I believe it is a backup goalkeeper. Other than that, they're sticking with the starting 11 that they came out with. Molly Fisher, net, Catherine Stevens, Kate Downs, Victoria Adams, Cassidy Klitsky in the back line. Midfield 3 of Sydney Malaga, Olivia Anderson, Madeline Anderson. And up top on the left, Brooke Brown. Up top on the right, Katrina Bartlett. And at striker for the Dutch Lions today, Adriana Barruti. Closer and closer to kickoff we get here at RCTC. It's an early kickoff in this one. 1 p.m. was the goal time. We're at 1:05, and the game will start here shortly between the two sides. So we get set for the final match of Rochester's inaugural USL W season. Now, rather, you look at the record, right, and you see it's 1-10. And that's not the best record for any team to be out here with. But for an inaugural season and dealing with a head coaching change, what are some of the positives that you've seen from this side, something that could be carried on into next year?
I think the way they're playing in the last games has been a lot better than the first couple. They've been a lot better, keeping the ball on the ground, moving teams side to side, and I think maybe the results don't always show that. But when we're here at the games watching, the teams played a lot better. You know, they definitely don't deserve, and they don't play like a team that only has 3 points on the season. So I think, you know, this last game is something to really, you know, hold on to, try to get the 3 points, and something to bring in the next season with a little more time, obviously, as an inaugural season. A lot of teams don't expect you to do a whole lot. So I think even the improvements that they made have been very good and something that they can really bring into the next USL W League season.
And you talk about head coach Eric Fiel coming in his first match, getting the win for Rochester against the second place side in Chicago City. Since then, it's been a bit of a downhill turn for this Rochester side, but one thing that Coach Fiel loves to talk about is mentality and how he's been trying to change the mentality of the players ever since he took charge. As Rochester get us started in this game. Chelsea Brown looking for Becca Cook down the left side, but it'll run out of play. And Riley, what do you think Rochester's game plan is for today? You talk a lot about moving the ball side to side, making teams that Rochester play against work defensively, tire them out, especially against a team that only has 12 players today. Do you think it's more of the same for Rochester?
Yeah, I think it is, and I think the formation change here really emphasizes that playing with more wide players, more bodies, and more people up top to help, you know, that transition. And Emmy Ellington and Sarah Gaines, both very good players on the ball, can really help them switch the play there. And I think just having that 2 up top, too, the strike partnership really helped them to stretch this Chicago Dutch Lions team.
Lindsey Birch with the ball over the top. Jada Brown running onto it, but she'll actually overrun it, so she won't get there in time. It's Dutch Lions who possess in the midfield. Clipped ball outside. Katrina Bartlett running onto it for the Dutch Lions. Worked back to Klitsky. Klitsky's pass intercepted by Rochester on Ricarte Pacheco. Breaks. Battling on the right side, Eduardo Quiroz will touch it out of play for a throw-in on the far side for the Dutch Lions. Good work from the Dutch Lions to play it outside. Work to the far side, and Klitsky. She'll play back to Adams, and it'll go all the way back to Molly Fisher. Here's Ricardo Pacheco holding on to possession for Rochester. She'll play back to Salas. Looking for the long ball over the top, but it's read well by the Dutch Lions, and they've got an opportunity to turn. On the far side, Brooke Brown. She'll play back and hold on to possession, but it's a poor touch in the middle from Olivia Anderson. But Chicago Dutch Lions retain possession, but it'll only go as far as Lindsay Birch will shield the ball out of play for a throw-in. Birch looking all the way ahead, but the pass is short, so it'll be another throw-in for her. A little bit further up the pitch. Work back in, Eduardo Quiroz trying to flick it back to Ellington, but it's off of the Dutch Lions, and then another throw-in upcoming for Birch. Up ahead, it'll be Dutch Lions holding on to possession. Quiroz doing well to defend, but getting out of it is Steffens on the far side. But Rochester win it back deep in possession. Here's Jada Brown. Looking inside. It'll fall to Cook. We'll touch it out to Chelsea Brown. Chelsea Brown lifts a shot in, but it's right into the path of Molly Fisher. Don't know if that was a shot or if she's trying to clip it up for Becca Cook to run onto, but either way, Fisher gets out and collects.
Good press from Rochester. I think the two up top is really helping them to really pressure. And here it comes again. But the pressure on the Central Dutch Lions team, especially in the heat with only a couple subs, is really going to be something to watch in the later stages of this game.
Hey, you got to think, as Rochester makes subs later on in the game, that's going to be a fatigue point to take advantage of for the Loons. There's the ball over the top. It's going to go over the head of Chelsea Brown, running onto it on the near side. Cassidy Klitsky, but it'll run too long for her. And out of play it goes. Here's Emma Knack in goal for Rochester. Played high school soccer at St. Francis, was a 6-year member of their varsity team. Is now headed to South Dakota State in the fall for her freshman season. She'll be joining a South Dakota State women's soccer team that went undefeated in regular season play as a part of the Summit League, including Riley against your school, Western Illinois. So a good chance she'll come up and have the opportunity to play against some of her Rochester teammates in Emerson Ellington and Sarah DeGaines, both of whom play at Western Illinois as well as Lindsay Birch, who's at Nebraska Omaha. Inside, Ricardo Pacheco. Outside, Ellington looking for the long ball. Instead, she'll take her space, roll it out to Jada Brown on the far side. Jada Brown has it touched away for a throw-in. Here's Ellington taking a shot from well outside the box. It's ambitious and it's wide of the post. So it'll be a goal kick for Fisher. Foul committed by Rochester. Chicago Dutch Lions work ahead, but it's cut out well by DeGaines. DeGaines brought down from behind. Nothing called, and Chicago Dutch Lions with an opportunity to counter 3-on-3, but Birch will cut it out. Play back to Knack. Outside to Mizutani. Inside Salas, and back to Knack it goes again. Dutch Lions try and bring the press, but Mack is able to clip one out to Birch, who has a touch away from her on the far side. But she'll be the last touch. It'll be a turnover for Birch and a chance for Dutch Lions to press forward into the attacking half. Inside from the Dutch Lions. Good save from Emanak. Great save there from Emanak, and it leads to a corner for the Dutch Lions. So the first corner of the game goes in the Dutch Lions' favor. They'll push numbers up. Lifted into the box. Headed away by Mizutani. And Chelsea Brown will run onto it. Mizutani's thrown on the near side. Inside to Ellington. Back to Mizutani. Over to Knack. Knack away with her left foot. Up ahead to Jada Brown. Now Dutch Lions attack on the left side. An early shot from the Dutch Lions. It's well wide of Emanak's goalpost, so another ambitious shot, this time from the Dutch Lions, and it'll be another goal kick for Knack. Knack will lift it out, looking for Quiroz. Quiroz chests it down to Ricardo Pacheco. Inside, Becca Cook will hold it up and eventually play DeGaines. DeGaines has space, instead she'll play it back to Birch and get it back. DeGaines looking ahead to Brown. Brown does well. We'll play it outside Ricardo Pacheco, but it's too far for her. And a run out of play on the far side for a Dutch Lions throw-in. Dutch Lions go down the left side again. Rochester really staying consistent with the three at the back and the two holding midfielders. They're letting the wingers play up in the attacking zones. They trust their central defenders and their central midfielders to get the job done defensively. So Chelsea Brown and Eduardo Quiroz will hang out up top, come defend when they need to, but they've got more priority on the offensive side of the ball. Like you said, Riley, it's kind of a shift to more offensive formation, maybe knowing that Chicago Dutch Lions are down to just 12 players. Try and press offensively as much as you can, tire this other team out as much as you can.
Yeah, definitely was one of the points that Coach Fiel saw when he decided to do that today. Also, something to watch here is, as we see Jada Brown get the ball here, when they can get the ball up like that, it's a 2v2 with her and Becca Cook with the two center backs. So the counterattack could definitely be something that Rochester used to take advantage of the formation here.
Dutch Lions will work down the left side. It's a cross in, but it's offsides. So it'll be a free kick for the Loons into the 12th minute. So a free kick from inside of her box. Dutch Lions will gain possession. Olivia Anderson outside to Brooke Brown. Brooke Brown driving. She'll cut into her right foot. Birch will get in the way to deflect the first shot, and it's cleared away by Salas. Outside, Sydney Malaga. Mizutani does well to defend, and she'll hold up play. Look for help in Chelsea Brown, and Brown will get there eventually. Brown inside to Ellington, letting it run to Ricardo Pacheco. She'll switch sides to Quiroz. Quiroz has options, and Jada Brown will play her. Brown one-on-one with her pace. That's a win for Jada Brown. She's sprinting into the box. Jada Brown has help. Will play it across to Cook. A chance for the Loons. A shot off the post. So close for Becca Cook. Chelsea Brown will whip one in now, and it'll go wide of the post. But Becca Cook touched it towards net with her left foot, and it just hit the post and went the wrong way for Rochester. The first true chance of the game, and it all came from the pace of Jada Brown on the right wing.
Like I was talking about a couple minutes ago, that counterattack will be lethal with Chicago Dutch Lions really pressing up and only leaving two back. 2v2 with the Rochester FC forwards and Jada Brown burning her defender there and very unlucky not to score.
Ellington heads it forward. Off the goal kick. Jada Brown with her left foot across the face of goal again. So close again for Jada Brown. Dutch Lions will hold on to possession now. They've got numbers going forward. They want to counter quickly. They play it forward. It's read well by Salas. Inside to Ellington, who turns well. She'll play it forward to Quiroz. Quiroz options again. She'll play it to Jada Brown. Jada Brown's going to end up with the ball here. Flicking it around her defender. But she's held off by the Dutch Lions, who press again. It's Klitsky. Outside to Malaga. Malaga cutting in. Chelsea Brown does well to touch it off of the Dutch Lions, so it'll be a goal kick for Emmenac. But two chances there for Jada Brown, just using her pace and her technical ability to get chances for Rochester. It's positive, but it's kind of reminiscent of the last game where these chances to score goals burn you in the end. So Rochester needs to put a few away here early if they want to feel comfortable. Brown will get past her defender again. She's brought down from behind, but she's still going. Jada Brown pressing forward onto her left foot. The shot, it's deflected by the Dutch Lions. It'll be a corner.
Jada Brown causing havoc for the Chicago Dutch Lions defense in this first 15 minutes. And they really just can't stop her with her pace and her power. It's just too much for the line.
Yeah, she's really doing it all. She's driving past defenders. She's shrugging them off like, really just like they're flies. I mean, she was pulled down by the Dutch Lions defender and shrugged her off like it was nothing. A chance here for the Loons on the corner. It's going to be Ricardo Pacheco to take. She's the team's leading goal scorer. As Rochester crowd the goalkeeper, Fisher. It's in the net. Sarah DeGaines with the header. And just like that, the Loons take a 1-0 lead. From the set piece, Ricardo Pacheco to Sarah DeGaines.
Yeah, and that's a brilliant header from Sarah DeGaines there. Just a front post one, flashes it in. Flicks it off, almost the back of her head. No chance for Molly Fisher, and the Loons are up 1-0.
So Honor Ricardo Pacheco gets the assist. Sarah DeGaines gets the goal. And it's a 1-0 Rochester lead. The only other time they led a game was against Chicago City, which bodes well for the Loons so far. And getting the first goal, especially in your last home game, such a huge momentum boost for this Rochester side. I mean, Riley, you saw it last night with the USL League 2 side going down 2-0 into halftime. They were able to claw it back, but you kind of saw it in their faces, the momentum shifting in FC Manitoba's way after they scored 2 goals in 3 minutes to close out the first half. What's the difference between scoring that first goal and giving up that first goal for you?
You know, as you said, it really is a big difference. Momentum shifter, you know, getting that first goal just brings confidence to the entire team. Great defending there from Lindsey Birch, Sarah against the clear. But it really is a big confidence boost. You feel a lot more comfortable, you know, in the game. You might try a couple more tricks and really trusting your teammates a lot more. But when you don't get that first goal, it's really hard to come back for it, you know, calm the emotions down and just keep playing your game. But I think this next 10 minutes is really important for Rochester to not let the pressure down and go for a second.
Birch with it now. Dutch Lions counter the other way. Outside in space is Malaga. No one there to defend. She'll chip it in, and Emanak punches away. It's back. Corner from Dutch Lions is headed down. Emanak will let it run past her, and it'll be a goal kick for the Loons. Here's Knack. It'll run wide of the post. Another goal kick upcoming for the goalkeeper.
Poor giveaway there from Salas, and Dutch Lions keep the ball and recycle here.
Dutch Lions continue attacking. Extended time in the attacking zone for the side from Chicago. An opportunity to cross it in on the far side. Read well by Salas. She'll clear away. Only as far as Steffens on the far side. Here's Catherine Steffens to lift one in. Numbers in the box for Chicago Dutch Lions, but it's cleared away by Mizutani. But they'll go again on the right side, this time with Klitsky. First time ball from Klitsky into the box. Touch towards net, and it's in the top corner. So Rochester scored first, but not 4 minutes later, Chicago Dutch Lions equalize. The cross in from Klitsky, the first time finish from Sydney Malaga. It's a goal for the Dutch Lions to make it 1-1.
Like you said, sustained pressure from the Lions there, and they get the reward. A great finish, and nothing Emanak could do about that one.
So Rochester will have to do it again if they want to take another lead. The score is 1-1. In the 21st minute. Away from the Dutch Lions, but DeGaines will collect. That goal, DeGaines' first of the season for the defensive midfielder. Ellington with the ball over the top, looking for Brown. Brown's going to be able to run to this one. She has options in the box. She'll recycle it out to her left foot and roll it over to Ellington. Ellington with space. She'll take a shot. It's deflected and cleared away by the Dutch Lions. Birch now on the far side. Pressure from Rochester. It's a throw in for the Loons on the far side. Into the box. Fisher comes out to collect. Going towards Malaga. Touched out and a chance for Dutch Lions again on the counter. They've got numbers. 3-on-2 for the Dutch Lions if they can work with pace. On the far side, Brown. Pushed off the ball by Birch, and Chelsea Brown will clear. Out to Kiraz, who will play back to Brown, but Malaga steps in the way. Now on the near side, Steffens. Touching in. Onto her left foot. Cleared away by Rochester again, and Mizutani. Worked out to Becca Cook. Will try and play the ball forward to Jada Brown. Instead, it's off of the face of Klitsky, and play will be halted here to make sure that she's okay. Once again, only one sub for the Dutch Lions, which means that if this is a concussion substitution, it'll have to come early for the Dutch Lions. As the trainer continues to check her out, we'll take a break here on the Rochester FC Network. 1-1 the score between Rochester FC and the Chicago Dutch Lions. We'll be back when play resumes. Play resuming here in Rochester, and it's Malaga with it for the Dutch Lions. She'll roll it out, and Birch will intercept. And Ricardo Pacheco the chance to break on the far side. She drives past her defender. She's into space, but Steffens recovers quite well. Trying to play down to Jada Brown, who's running towards the ball. Brown held off the ball. It's going to be a foul called on Jada Brown for that one. It looks like looked like a fair tussle. Instead is a free kick for the Dutch Lions.
Yeah, but Jada Brown again causing problems. Her pace is just too much for the Lions to deal with, but defender does well there, and they get a free kick out of it.
The Dutch Lions attack down the right side now. Contact between DeGaines and Klitsky. It's going to be a throw-in for the Dutch Lions. Now a throw-in for Rochester. Dutch Lions will play to the far side, and Brooke Brown. Rolled ahead, looking for Malaga, but it'll run wide, and Emanak will come out to collect. Chicago Dutch Lions still playing with only 10 because of the head injury to Steffens. Jada Brown trying to play it back, and it's taken away by Dutch Lions originally, and then she'll hold on to possession and play it out to Chelsea Brown on the left side. Brown with space will play it into Ellington. Ellington's got a lot of space to drive as well. She'll play it out, Ricardo Pacheco. Ricardo Pacheco flipping it forward, looking for Becca Cook. Instead, it's brought down by the Dutch Lions. They clear away. Gonna run out of play on the far side, be another throw in for the Loons. It looks like the Dutch Lions are back to full strength. Not a substitution just yet for the Dutch Lions. Here's Jada Brown. She shrugged off the ball. Up ahead to Bartlett. Ricardo Pacheco plays it off of a Dutch Lions player, but it's going to be a throw-in for the Dutch Lions. And so the Dutch Lions will throw it in, and it's DeGaines applying pressure for Rochester, trying to win the ball in advanced position. Mizutani will clear it away. A chance to counter for Rochester. Becca Cook, Chelsea Brown both closing in on it. Chested down by Klitsky, and it's off of Chelsea Brown in the end. And it'll be the 30th minute. We'll head to a water break. The score 1-1 between Rochester FC and Chicago Dutch Lions. Rochester scored first, but Chicago equalized 5 minutes later. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back when play resumes here on the Rochester FC Network. Back in action here at RCTC as Chicago Dutch Lions and Rochester FC remain tied 1-1. Sarah DeGaines scored from a corner, assisted by Ana Ricardo Pacheco. The Chicago Dutch Lions equalized not soon after. In the 21st minute, the Dutch Lions, Klitsky will lift it in across, and then Baruti, who touched home for the Dutch Lions. Here's Mizutani with a free kick. Mizutani has been the team's long free kick taker since just about the second game when she almost scored against Green Bay Glory. She'll lift this one towards the end. It's going to bounce in the box. Fisher comes out and actually collects it off the fly, so it'll be no damage done for the Dutch Lions. Fisher pushing her team forward. Becca Cook and Jada Brown showing pressure. Fisher will boot it forward. It's going to go over the head of Malaga. Mizutani trying to bring it down. She slips. It's a chance to break on the counter for Malaga. Inside, Katrina Bartlett, one-on-one with Knack, between the legs, goal. 2-1 lead for the Dutch Lions. As an error in the back from Mizutani leads to the counter opportunity and the goal for Chicago.
Yeah, Mizutani would be kicking herself about that one, letting the ball drop off the goal kick, then miscontrolling it and allowing the Dutch Lions to get in, and they go up 2-1.
And for a player who's been one of the most consistent players on this team, it's an error that she doesn't normally make. Just happened the wrong place at the wrong time. Becca Cook pushing forward to try and win possession back, but commits a foul in the process. So it'll be a free kick for Chicago. Dutch Lions trying to push forward. Instead, it's going to be a throw-in for Rochester. Up ahead looking for Cook. Taken away by Anderson. Over to Madeline Anderson. And up ahead it goes Bartlett. She just scored. Lifting in the cross. It's well wide of the danger area, so it'll be a goal kick for Knack. Here's DeGaines driving past one of the Chicago Dutch Lions players, but it's going to be a foul. It'll be a free kick for Rochester. Salas will step up and take. Has options, looks for Brown, headed away by Downs. Up ahead is going to fall again for the Dutch Lions, a chance to break again on the counter. Salas does well to find Knack. Knack will clear first time, up ahead to Ricardo Pacheco. Trying to flick it on, but she misjudged it. But Quiroz will retain possession for Rochester and a chance to break. It's Quiroz on the outside. She's cutting in, trying to go between the legs of her defender. Instead, it's out for a Rochester throw-in. Birch will step forward. Ten minutes left to go in the first half. A game that started positively for Rochester. Opening goal in the 15th minute, but since then it's been all Dutch Lions on the score sheet. But here's a chance to break for Brown. Onto her left foot. She'll play it out to Chelsea Brown. Back to Mizutani. Into DeGaines. Back to Mizutani. Over to Ellington. Good passing from Rochester. Back to Mizutani. The shot. Yes. Far down and in from Mizutani, and it's an equalizer.
And it's a brilliant goal from Rochester. Mizutani playing the 1-2 with Ellington, getting the ball back and just smashing it past Fisher. A great goal from Rochester, and really shows what they can do when they keep the ball on the ground and move the defenders, and just showing the quality of Mizutani and Ellington there. And it's a great goal for Rochester, and they get the equalizer, 2-2.
So Mizutani finishing off the great team move from Rochester. One touch, two touch passing between Mizutani, Ellington, DeGaines. And Mizutani slams home the equalizer to bring it back to 2-2. Here's to Gaines again. Looking for Ricardo Pacheco. Ricardo Pacheco driving on the outside. She's held up and double teamed by two Dutch Lions defenders. She's brought down. It's going to be a throw in for Rochester.
Birch to take. Headed up by the lines. Just Pacheco's shot is blocked. The Loons reset out to Mizutani. Tani, another 1-2 with Ellington. And her shot just over the bar. But again, good play from Rochester. The quick 1-2 is really hurting this Lions team, who just can't seem to get near him.
You're right. It's just been the one-touch, two-touch passing. You talked about it before the game, Riley. Trying to make sure that you stretch out this Dutch Lions team as much as possible. Move players around as much as possible, because the reality is they only have one substitute. Everyone's going to be fatigued in those last 10, 20 minutes, and Rochester just need to tire out the Dutch Lions as soon as possible. Back to Mizutani. With the game, back to Mizutani. Over to Ellington.
Birch to take the long free kick.
Falls down in the box for Becca Cook, but she's unable to control it cleanly, and it's a chance for the Dutch Lions to clear away, and they do earn a throw-in on the near side. Unlucky for Cook there, as she was in a great position. Turnover from Rochester, but losing it again is Kiraz, and breaking is the Dutch Lions. Outside, Brooke Brown. Driving in, passing with her left foot. It's Emma Knack down to get it. So Emma Knack will hold on to it. Throw it out, looking for Kiraz in space. Numbers are up right now for the Dutch Lions. If Rochester can push forward these final few minutes, as Kiraz nutmegs the defender, passing to Ellington. Ellington looking for Brown. There's the Dutch Lions on the far side with a throw-in. It's going to stay in play here for the Dutch Lions. They'll play it back to Stevens. See the other side here. Played in by the Dutch Lions. Looking for Baruti, and said Chelsea Brown will clear away. Back in by Chicago. Ellington steps in now. And Eduardo Quiroz up ahead looking for Ricardo Pacheco. And Ricardo Pacheco will collect. Chance to break for Ricardo Pacheco. She can control the ball. Instead, good defending from the Dutch Lions. A pass back to Fisher. Becca Cook applying pressure. And Fisher is forced to play it out of bounds. Good awareness there from Becca Cook. Saw that the pass back to Fisher was a little bit slower than it should have been. and was able to apply pressure and force Fisher into a bad clearance. So now Rochester pushed forward again. Jada Brown fouled on the ball. It'll be another free kick for the Loons. Another chance for Sarah DeGaines to get in. As well as Ellington and Becca Cook as well in the box for Rochester. It'll go short to Ricardo Pacheco. She'll hold on to possession. Turn her defender well. Good tackle there on the far side from the Dutch Lions. Birch applying pressure. It'll run through the legs of the Dutch Lions. It'll be a throw in for Chicago on the far side as we enter the final few minutes of regular time in the first half. Has not been short of action. 2 goals from either side. Rochester took the lead. Chicago Dutch Lions scored the next 2, and Rochester then tied it up with Mizutani recently. As the Dutch Lions push their throw in further back, Rochester showing press, and they will put some pressure here on Chicago. There's a turnover. Ricardo Pacheco had a chance to clear it forward. Instead, it's the Dutch Lions who retain possession. They switch the play, but then they'll attack down the left side. Offside is a call. Malaga on the far side, way too eager to get in front of the play. So it'll be a free kick for Birch and Rochester. So Rochester scored first, and 5 minutes later, the Dutch Lions equalized. The Dutch Lions took a lead in the 32nd minute, and 5 minutes later, Rochester equalized. That's where we stand 2-2 between the two sides. Up ahead from Rochester, it's headed forward by the Dutch Lions and brought down by Catherine Stevens. She's driving in. Out to the other side, Birch able to play it off of Stevens. Incredible defensive stand there from Birch to play it off of Stevens. Earn a goal kick for Emmenac. Up ahead to Chelsea Brown. She'll head it to herself. Play it back to Mizutani, who clears away. Looking for Ricardo Pacheco. It'll run long for her. Jada Brown with a chance to win it back, and she does for Rochester over to Kiraz. Kiraz, too long of a touch there on the near side, on the far side. So Chicago Dutch Lions will gain possession back. Salas will clear away. The clearance hitting the speaker on the light over there. That speaker, one that caught fire just a few weeks ago. So hopefully not too much damage caused by that clearance from Salas, as it's going to be a throw-in for Rochester on the far side. Birch, long run up. She's looking ahead, trying to find Becca Cook. Headed away by the Dutch Lions. And eventually it's off of Birch on the far side for a Dutch Lions throw-in. Into the closing stages of the first half. It's 2-2 between the two sides. It's been pretty equal, I'd say, between the two sides, Riley. But as you look to the second half, obviously the big talking point has been Chicago Dutch Lions come into the game, only one substitute. What do you expect Rochester to do to take advantage of that and the fatigue that the Dutch Lions are going to settle into?
I think as we talked about all season, just keeping the ball, moving it side to side, and especially, like you said, in this heat, only one sub. The fatigue is definitely going to set in the last 15, 20 minutes. So I think the subs for Rochester can really come in and make an impact in this game. Jada Brown has done well done well the entire game, causing problems for the Central Dutch Lions defense. And I think her and Becca Cook will be a big in the second half to keep hurting their center backs here.
Kira has another good dribbling move. Eventually find Brown outside. Brown took a tumble, but will retain possession of the ball. Should play it out to DeGaines. Cross into the box, looking for Ricardo Pacheco, but it's too far behind her. And a chance to break again for the Dutch Lions. And there's a halftime whistle. 2-2 the score. DeGaines, Mizutani, the 2 goal scorers for Rochester, and we're all tied up at halftime. We'll have second half action when we return here on the Rochester FC Network. Don't go anywhere. Back at halftime here at RCTC Stadium, 2-2 the scoreline. It was an incredible first half. A lot of action on both ends of the field, and it's going to be an even better second half. That's what we can hope for. I'm Arnav Pokral, joined by the one and only Riley Moore, bringing you second half action here at RCTC Stadium as Chicago Dutch Lions and Rochester FC resume play. Rochester FC, no changes, and we'd assume the same from Chicago Dutch Lions. They could only make one change in the whole game anyways, as here's Jada Brown on the near side. She's forced to recycle it out. She slips a little bit. She'll hold on to possession and then eventually has it taken away by Chicago. The clearance from Chicago well out of play, so it'll be a throw in for the Loons. Flipped forward by Malaga. Chicago retain possession. Pressure coming from Ellington. Forcing a pass back. And all the way around. Here's Fisher with it. Looking towards Adams, and he'll play it all the way down the line. Madeline Anderson. Back it goes to Adams. Forward to Bartlett. Bartlett turns well. And Birch does well to win a throw-in for Rochester. With that second goal, Mizutani now tied for the lead for goals this season. She's got 2. She scored a penalty in the game against RKC to cut the lead from 3-1 to 3-2. And then with that goal, she sits herself atop the standings alongside Ana Ricarte Pacheco. This one's in to Malaga. Back outside, and the cross in, dealt with by Emanak. Away up to Brown. The touch from Brown, it'll be long, but it falls to Ricarte Pacheco. A chance to break for Rochester. Out to Quiroz. Back to Brown. Good work from Rochester. Brown will hold possession. She's brought down from behind. It's going to be a free kick for the Loons.
Great play from Jada Brown again. As we saw in the punt there from Emanak, the Chicago Dutch Lions seem to have picked up on the counter and the threat that Jada Brown and Becca Cook are causing as they left 5 players back instead of the 2 they did in the first half. Obviously, trying to have more bodies with the pace of Jada Brown.
Ball in from Birch. It's dealt with by Chicago for now. And they'll clear away. Mizutani stands up the progression, and eventually it'll be won back by Rochester, but then it's another turnover, and eventually Becca Cook will hang on to possession for Rochester. Out to Ellington. Ellington has an option outside, and Quiroz and finds her. Here's Quiroz. Up to Brown. Brown turns well. Jada Brown streaking free in the box. The shot rolled. Can someone get there? No. It rolls just wide. Becca Cook unable to get there in time.
But once again, like we talked about all game, Jada Brown just causing havoc for the Chicago Dutch Lions defense. And once again, so unlucky not to get a goal. But you have to think the way she's playing, one's bound to come.
Yeah, not even just a goal, not even an assist there. It's been a couple of times where she's rolled the ball across the box, and it's just a yard or two too long for Becca Cook, her strike partner, to get there. Here's Cook. Launches a shot with the right foot, but it's off the backside of one of the Dutch Lions defenders. Here's Mizutani trying to switch play. A beautiful ball. Beautiful switch from Mizutani to Quiroz. Quiroz outside Brown. Brown's touch poor. And you're seeing Rochester now, Riley, really relying on Jada Brown to be the invention of this offense. She's facilitating everything, trying to create opportunities for her teammates. Here's Birch, clipping one ahead, looking for Cook. It's going to roll, but it'll be Fisher who collects in the end. Here come the Dutch Lions. Most of the action has been in the Rochester attacking half since the start of the second half, so these past 5 minutes has been mostly on the right side of the field. The Dutch Lions progress now for the first time, but it's Ellington with the interception. She'll turn well. Outside it goes, looking for Chelsea Brown. Pass a little too long there. Brown letting it run, and eventually it'll run out of play. Back in from the Dutch Lions. Cleared away. Up ahead. Inside. Good tackle from DeGaines. It's eventually up to Ricardo Pacheco. She'll turn well. Find Ellington. Ellington across. Looking for Quiroz. Found her. Here's Quiroz. Cutting into her left side. Good pass. The clip ahead. Here's Jada Brown running onto it. Collision with the goalkeeper. And Brown lifted it wide. It's going to be a foul anyway. She was offside. And she collided with the goalkeeper. So either way, it was not going to count as a goal. But Jada Brown close again. But no dice for the Belize national striker. Now the Dutch Lions with an opportunity to press again. To the right side of Malaga. It's a turnover, and Chelsea Brown with a chance to push the other way. Instead, she'll hold it up and play on Ricardo Pacheco, who turns well. Finds Brown on the outside. Brown cutting into her right foot. Will play it back to Ricardo Pacheco. Ricardo Pacheco, long shot with her left foot, and it's right into the hands of Fisher. Chance for Rochester to go right back again on the offensive side. Here's Quiroz. Space on the right side. Does well to turn her defender. Lays across, and Ellington the shot. Blocked away. Might have been by her own teammate, Becca Cook. Jada Brown applying great pressure and wins it back. She's brought down from behind. It's going to be a free kick for Rochester. She'll take it quickly. Find Quiroz. Quiroz across into the box. Headed away from Chicago. Quiroz will play it back to Birch. Birch holding on to possession. Chance to lift it across on the near side. So good looking ball, but it's cleared away by Chicago, only as far as Jada Brown. Back to Ellington. Up ahead, Cook. Cook, the shot from distance, just touched onto the crossbar by Fisher. What a save. Rochester go again. And eventually Chicago clear away. Mizutani will have a chance to put it back in for Brown. Brown's touch is poor, but she'll hold on to it on the far side. They're going to say it ran out of play. Unlucky for Brown on the far side, but an extended run of chances for Rochester. So unlucky to not see one of those crosses go in, or even that shot from Becca Cook touched off the crossbar.
Yeah, it's been great play, and I think the two behind us is Emmy Ellington and Sarah DeGaines. The last 8 minutes, they just break up everything in the midfield. I don't think the Lions have even crossed the field yet. They've been breaking up everything, moving the play. And if they can continue playing like that, you'd find it hard to believe that Rochester can't find a goal in the second half.
Yeah, we get deeper and deeper into time. Remember that Chicago Dutch Lions only one substitute out to play for the side. As the ball is played in over the top. Here's Bartlett on the near side. Defended by Quiroz. She gets past her. Bartlett still going. Inside, Steffens. Back outside. The offside flag comes up on Malaga. So yeah, you're just like you said, Riley, really the first time that Dutch Lions have had a chance in the offensive zone. And now they've only got 5 players back. Jada Brown's running free on the near side. Quiroz can't find her with the pass. There's a good run from Brown. Good idea from Quiroz, but you have to execute the pass there. As Quiroz commits a foul, brings down Madeline Anderson. That'd be a free kick for Victoria Adams. Adams plays short. Pressure coming. It's back out to Anderson. She gets past Kiraz. Crossing into the box. It's cleared away by Mizutani. Knack will come out and punch. Eventually away to Malaga. And then DeGaines will find Kiraz on the outside. Long ball from Kiraz up ahead to Brown, who brings it down well. Jada Brown has options. She's brought down again. Third or fourth time that Victoria Adams has brought down Jada Brown. And there's the card shown to Adams. That foul, probably not in and of itself deserving of a yellow card, but it's that repeated time after time, just bringing down Jada Brown because Jada Brown has had her number all game. And finally, she's shown the yellow.
Yeah, it's been a very tough game for Adams here. Just Jada Brown just too quick, too powerful for her, and once again, Gilling past her, and Adams has no choice but to take her down and get a yellow card. Something to watch in this last 35 minutes or so. How she'll have to defend Jada Brown now on a yellow card.
Got to be a lot more conservative, does Adams, but that means Jada Brown can be a little bit more flashy as Ricardo Pacheco wins it back for Rochester. She's brought down hard. And there's a foul on Malaga. That one, a harsh tackle there on Ricardo Pacheco. And good for Rochester. She's able to get up. Mizutani plays it quickly to the far side, and Brown. Brown lifts it across. It's going to fall. Bounces in the box, but no one home for Rochester. Birch will push it back into the zone. Kiraz battling for it. But eventually it's the Dutch Lions who retain possession. You're going to find Fisher. Two players coming for Rochester. As Rochester look to keep the pressure high. The long ball comes. Salas will let it run past her, and Birch will have a chance to play it back to Knack. We've got word from before the game that Coco Alcalde, who's been the goalkeeper for Rochester, who split minutes with Emma Knack, is wearing a field jersey for today, so she has a chance to get some final minutes here at RCTC Stadium before she returns to LSUS for the fall season. But it won't be in net, it's going to be in the field for Alcalde. Here's Salas. Salas driving into space. She's still going. Great pass from Salas. Up ahead to Brown. It's too far for Brown. And a player for the Dutch Lions is down. They're going to halt play and bring on a trainer here as we wait to see who the injured player it is. We're going to take a break as she gets sent to. We'll be right back here on the Rochester FC Network. I've been on Poco, joined by Riley Moore. Back in action here at RCTC as we get the substitution confirmed. Player off is Madeline Anderson, I believe, but we'll wait to get that confirmed here. It brings on Emma Early for the Dutch Lions. Here's Ricarte Pacheco in the attacking zone. Has the ball taken away from her. Touched in by Malaga, but it's DeGaines who will eventually have it and look to distribute out to the right side in Quiroz. Great pass from DeGaines. Quiroz has options, looks for Brown. She'll win it back. Had Brown again, instead it's off to Ricarte Pacheco, takes a first-time shot with her left foot. It's wide of the post. Have to play that second ball to Brown there if you're Quiroz. She's onside, she's in space, and she didn't play the ball. Here's Fisher. Goal kick into the path of Early. Up ahead to Stevens. Stevens defended by Salas. She'll cut into her right foot. Finds Malaga in space. DeGaines stepping in. Big tackle from Sarah DeGaines. But Malaga retains possession and will play it back to Downs. Downs across the right side and Klitsky. Remember, Chicago Dutch Lions have already made their one sub. So if another player is to get injured for the Dutch Lions, they'll have to play with 10 players. As that ball is played in, it's a good-looking ball for the Dutch Lions. An opportunity here at the first-time shot. Emanak collects. Knack with the boot. It's up, intended for Brown. Cook will bring it down. It's off the hand of a Dutch Lions player. It'll be a free kick for Rochester. Mizutani steps forward. Probably looking to shoot from here, put it on frame and force a deflection. She's done it before. She almost scored against Bavarian United from about 40 yards out. This one a little bit further, so she'll lift it into the box. But with Mizutani's leg, anything really is in the cards here. She's also got Birch out to her right if she wants to play her. Instead, it's driven from Mizutani right into the path of Fisher. So it was a shot from Mizutani, but Fisher equal to it. Ellington forces a turnover. Cook with an opportunity to break. She'll pull it back. Try and play Ricarte Pacheco. It's cut out by Downs. Now Klitsky on the far side. Becca Cook will apply high pressure. Try to win it back, and it'll go to Mizutani. Ellington now with space to turn to the midfield. Ellington looking for Cook inside. Instead, it's a poor pass, and DeGaines will break things up in the midfield again. Riley, you said it best. This midfield two of DeGaines and Ellington have just been cutting everything off for Dutch Lions, rarely allowing them to escape the attacking zone.
Yeah, we talked about it all season. Sarah DeGaines does so much for this team, breaking the passes up, spraying the balls wide, and today getting rewarded with a goal. And she really has been one of Rochester's best performers on the day.
Yeah, with 25 minutes left, Riley, you and I have been around the team a lot. We traveled to a few places together, and we've been at all these home games. Who do you think has been Rochester's player or players of the season?
Well, I said I would pick Sarah DeGaines. Although she didn't come in right away when she came in, she made a big impact on the team, playing in that center defensive midfielder role.
This one into Cook, and she lifts a shot, but it's wide of the post.
And like I just said, she breaks up so much plays in the midfield, sprays ball wide, and really is the conductor for this team. I think another player that's played really well this season is Jada Brown, like we've seen this season with her pace and power, always causing problems for the defense. Maybe, like we talked about before, the stats may not show, that she was one of the best players, but as you watch the game, we can see her impact on the team and the energy that she brings.
Chelsea Brown heads forward. It's on Ricardo Pacheco, bringing it down. She'll play it inside to Reyna. Reyna, who just came on for Kiraz in the 65th minute. Outside it goes to Birch. Birch with an opportunity to lift it across. She does, but it's well behind the goal, so another wasted offensive opportunity for Rochester. Still 2-2, but Rochester have really dominated these opening 20 minutes of the second half. Just have no goal to show for it yet. Another high turnover. Here's Becca Cook. The shot from distance. It's right into the hands of Fisher. Rolled out into the path of Kate Downs. Downs looking to play outside to Early. She'll get there in time. Play up ahead to Steffens. Salas does well to cut Steffens off, and she'll play it out for a Dutch Lions throw-in on the near side. Here's a throw-in. Looking long, finding Malaga. Looking outside, Anderson. Reyna trying to bring it down. Will turn it over back into Adriana Baruzzi. Pressure from Rochester. It's Mizutani who will look to shield this ball. She'll play it out. She's pushed to the ground. It's going to be a foul called. Aggressive there from the Dutch Lions. I believe that was Malaga committing a foul, so it'll be free kick for Mizutani on the far side. Here's Knack. Lifting a goal kick towards Ricardo Pacheco. She flicks it on. Becca Cook running towards it. She's got an opportunity to win the ball back. Instead, it's off of her for a Dutch Lions throw-in on the far side. You can kind of see the game slowing down a little bit, Riley, here as we approach the 70th minute. 20 minutes left in regular time, plus a fair bit of extra time for the injury that happened earlier. How do you think Rochester pick it up here again, pick up the intensity? On Ricardo Pacheco's cross, cut out by Downs. And that's Klitsky.
I think, as we talked about so many times in this game, just not having the subs, the Chicago Dutch Lions, and just not having the same subs as Rochester. I think, Coach Fiel's going to have to look at that in his last 20 minutes and try to make some attacking subs, just bring out some fresh legs and some energy to really go ahead and try to take a hold of this game.
Here's Jenny Reyna. Back to Lindsay Birch. Birch lifting it across. Ricardo Pacheco was there. It runs over her head. Chelsea Brown trying to keep it in. Good ball from Lindsay Birch. Good run from Ricardo Pacheco. Just a little too high for her there. But another good offensive look for the Loons. Outside. It's Bartlett. It's off the face of Ricardo Pacheco. She's a little shaken up, but she'll stay on her feet. Pacheco standing up, and referee holding off the trainer. It looks like Ricardo Pacheco is good to go, so she'll stay on the pitch. And Emmenac will hold on to the ball here for Rochester. 19 minutes left in the regular season for Rochester as they look to gain their second win against the Chicago Dutch Lions. The ball will bounce. It's intended for Cook, and Fisher will get there first. Fisher will roll it out to herself and eventually find her teammate. Has worked outside. Klitsky on the far side. Touch out of play, and it's going to be a throw in here for Mizutani. So many chances already for Jada Brown, Becca Cook, and the rest of this Rochester side that they've just haven't been able to take advantage of. Here's Jenny Reyna driving to the right side. Looking for an option. She only really has Jada Brown. Lifts it into the box. No one there. The clearance from Chicago Dutch Lions. Mizutani missing out on the clearance as Chicago Dutch Lions continue to press. Big gains with a tackle, but it'll remain Dutch Lions ball on the far side. They'll push forward to the outside. A poor touch on the far side from Brown. It's going to be a throw in for the Loons. Here are the Dutch Lions. Driving on the near side, pressure from Reyna. Reyna's going to get called for a foul. Here's Kate Downs. This one over the head of everybody. Emmenac will come out and collect. She'll hold on to it. Won't like to play quickly. Instead, she'll play it all the way out. Intended for Jada Brown. Her touch long, but Ellington will get there first. Turnover from the Dutch Lions means it's going to be a Rochester throw-in on the near side. Time continues to wind down on Rochester's season. They're tied right now. They're looking for that winning goal. Here's Birch up ahead, but only as far as early. It will clear away. Mizutani up ahead again. Looking for Brown. Brown flicks it on and turns well. Jada Brown still going. She'll bring it down. Drives past the defender and early. Cuts inside to her left foot. Trying to hold on possession. A clash of legs there between Brown and the Dutch Lions, and a foul called. As Jada Brown complains to the referee about that one. I'm not sure about that one. I thought that was a 50-50, Riley. I think you're feeling the same way about that tackle as well.
Yeah, soft one there from the referee. Not much in it there, but Chicago Dutch Lions get a break there.
Birch on the near side. Won't be able to keep the ball in play, so it'll be a throw in for the Dutch Lions. Inside, Knack will come out and collect. She'll boot ahead, looking for Cook. It's going to bounce high. A chance to run onto it for Jada Brown. Jada Brown will put it in towards the box, and Fisher will come out and collect. Brown was kind of falling down there. Nothing she could do off balance, and she just kind of touched it towards goal. Is Reyna. The pass runs long. It'll be early to collect. DeGaines will find Reyna again. Up ahead to Ricardo Pacheco. Ricardo Pacheco has options. Finds Ellington. Will bring it down, trying to flick it back to Ricardo Pacheco. Instead, it's a turnover for Rochester. Chance to break for the Dutch Lions. Up ahead to Stevens. She scored the first goal for the Dutch Lions. It's going to be a throw-in for Rochester on the far side. Still no subs used so far by the Loons, except for the one. Reyna in for Quiroz, as we're going to head to a water break. We got 15 minutes left on the clock, but it's going to be a good amount of extra time, so about 20, 25 minutes left to go in this one. As Rochester closes out their season looking for a W against the Chicago Dutch Lions. I've been Arnold Pilcrow, joined by Riley Moore. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back when action resumes here at our CTC Stadium. Back in action here is a throw-in on the far side for Dutch Lions. They work it well to Baruti. Back it goes to Downs. Downs will fire a shot from distance. Emanak comfortable with it in the end. 79 on the clock. But remember, a fair bit of extra time to be added in this one. Is on Ricardo Pacheco. Cutting in. Driving past the field. Lindsey Birch is going to get there on the outside. Great run from Birch. She's looking for an option in the box. She'll play it off of a Dutch Lions player for a throw-in. So a chance here for the Loons to continue pressing in the attacking zone. Just a few moments ago, they had about 2 minutes where they just kept firing chances towards goal, but deflections, blocks, and saves kept the Loons out. Chicago Dutch Lions, after giving up that goal to Mizutani, has been bend, don't break, especially when defending against Jada Brown and this Rochester offense. Into Ricardo Pacheco. She'll bring it down well. Her cross is cleared away, only as far as DeGaines, who does well to hold on to the ball. Fighting through possession, she'll find Salas. Salas carries forward to Birch. Birch will play it off of a Dutch Lions player again for another throw-in. Up ahead, pressure applied by Cook. It's going to fall out to Ricardo Pacheco. Her cross inside. Jenny Reyna was there, but it's cleared away by the Dutch Lions. Another throw and up coming for Rochester. Another missed opportunity for the Loons deep in the attacking zone. They just got to put one on frame if you're Rochester. Here's Birch again. She'll take the easier option into Gaines. She'll get the pass back. Options in the box. She's looking for Cook or Brown. It's going to fall to Ellington. Ellington with her left foot. It's wide and over the bar. Just got to keep your eye on it, Emmy Ellington. Angry about that one and knows that's a shot she's got to put on target from right outside of the box.
And another chance goes by for Rochester. And if they're not able to convert in these last 9-10 minutes, some of these chances they'll definitely be kicking themselves about not finishing.
Ellington again, over to Reyna. Reyna driving down the right side. With pace, she'll play it off of early. It'll be a corner upcoming for the Loons. Ricardo Pacheco heads out to take. This is how Rochester scored the first goal in the 10th minute. Ricardo Pacheco the corner to Gaines a header. And what a header it was. Twisting. She's falling away from her own body, able to twist her head back and redirect the corner towards goal past Fisher. An incredible header from DeGaines as Ricardo Pacheco lines up the corner on the far side. Away from Ricardo Pacheco. Into DeGaines again, who got a good head on it, but it's out of the back for a Fisher goal kick. Goal kick for Fisher, and Chicago Dutch Lions taking their time. They're happy to walk away with this game with a draw. Poor touch from the Dutch Lions, but Mizutani unable to hold possession. A chance to break for the Dutch Lions. Up ahead, Knack comes out of her box to clear it. Knack dribbling outside of her box. Up ahead looking for Brown. It's away eventually by the Loons. Dangerous play there from Knack and the Rochester back line, but they're saved by a few lucky bounces. Final 7 minutes of regular time, but we've got a fair bit of extra time to be added on as well. An injury plus the water break. No goals scored so far in the second half. Here's Brown being harassed from behind and forced into a bad pass. Stevens now driving for the Dutch Lions. Salas' clears is off the mark, and Mizutani eventually clears it, and she's fouled in the process. Goes down holding her left foot and earns a free kick for Rochester in the process. Up ahead from Knack. And Dutch Lions counter the other way. Mizutani stands strong and clears it out for a throw-in on the far side. Ricardo Pacheco. Away with it. Jada Brown, good defense from Brown. She's trying to win it back, and she eventually will find the pass out to Reyna. Reyna's touch is long. Pushed off the ball by Early, but Early's pass is well out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for the Loons. 5 substitutions for Rochester coming in. Off go Chelsea Brown, on to Ricardo Pacheco. Becca Cook. Emmy Ellington. And Sarah DeGaines. On come Melanie and Kristen Ledoux, Sarah Speltz, Ava Adams, so quick formation change here as Adams and Ledoux will join Salas in the back line. Will push Birch and Mizutani further forward, as well as Speltz, Melanie Ledoux. And up top is Coco Alcalde for Rochester. The goalkeeper, who didn't start today in net but knew she was going to get minutes because she had a field jersey with her, is now playing striker for Rochester and looking to give Rochester their second win of the season in the final minutes of the game. There's Kristen Ledoux to Salas. Salas long ball up ahead. Cleared away by the Dutch Lions. Stevens driving for the Dutch Lions. Outside to Malaga. Malaga driving past Adams. A shot and the goal. 87th minute goal for the Dutch Lions, and that could be a heartbreaker for Rochester. So Rochester will have to move quickly. They've missed their chances to take the lead already. Chicago Dutch Lions take advantage of the one chance they had in the second half. Outside to Melanie Ledoux. Her touch is poor. It'll go off the far side. Dutch Lions go again. Here's Malaga. Off of Adams. Mizutani will collect. Adams up ahead. Looking for Alcalde. She touches it down to Ledoux. Ledoux's driving on the far side. It's Melanie Ledoux. She'll keep it in play. Looking for Alcalde. Back it goes from the Dutch Lions to Early. Down the left side. In Bartlett. Chance again for Stevens. Inside the box. It's off of Adams. Knack is coming out, and she'll clear it away.
Adams over to take the free kick. Plays it straight back to the lines. And Rochester get a throw. Almost.
Melanie Ledoux on the far side throwing it in for Rochester. Into Speltz. Back to Ledoux. Back to Speltz. Back to Ledoux. Good passing from the two. Inside Mizutani. Inside Speltz. She's driving. She'll find Brown. Brown has an option. Outside, and Hernandez takes it herself. Plays it to Mizutani. Mizutani back to Brown. Collision between two players. Outside it goes. Alcalde. To Ledoux. Alcalde, she's onside. Lifts in across. No one there for Rochester. But a chance on the other side is going to be a throw in for the Loons. Taken quickly in. Salas now with it. We're into extra time. It's going to be a fair amount of extra time. Lifts it into Brown. Her flick on. Alcalde's not going to be able to get there in time. Dutch Lions passing around the back. Good interception from Speltz. Brown's hustling to the ball. She'll get there first. She'll win it back for Rochester. Birch with it now. It's going to be a foul called. The advantage was played initially, but Birch wasn't really going anywhere with the ball, so it'll be a free kick for the Loons, and Birch will take it. Here's Birch lifting it in. It's a dangerous ball. It's going to fall. Alcalde, the shot. The rebound turned wide from Brown. It's going to be a goal kick for the Dutch Lions. Alcalde shot deflected. Brown, another missed opportunity. And that just sums up Rochester's whole season. Just unlucky at moments, and it's got a goal kick for Fisher. Back it goes to Knack. Mizutani turns well. She's driving. Looking for the through ball to Hernandez. Instead, it's Malaga on the far side. Down the line, looking for Stevens. Salas will get there first. She'll play it to Knack. Knack up ahead, looking for Adams. It goes over the head of Adams. Inside Stevens again. Stevens a shot. Good save from Knack. And there it is, the final whistle. Final score 3-2. Chicago Dutch Lions victorious over Rochester in the final game of Rochester's inaugural USL W League season. They finished 1-11. The only win against Chicago City SC away. That'll do it from us here in the booth. This USL season, both USL League 2 and USL W League home games are finished for the 2023 summer. I want to thank you guys for tuning in this entire summer. Hope you guys tune in to the 3 games that the USL League 2 side has left, well, all of them away. RKC, St. Croix Legends, and Milwaukee Bavarian United SC up on tap for the League 2 side. But for myself, Arnold Bokrell, and my partner beside me, Riley Moore, and the rest of the Rochester FC broadcast network, I want to thank you guys again for tuning in this entire season. It's been a great ride. We'll see you back next summer for another season of USL W League and USL League 2 action.